All right. So your underlying energy, Sagittarius, is the Eight of Pentacles. Now, the Eight of Pentacles does talk about concentration, hard work, dedication, focus, right? Being in the moment, working on what you can work with at this time, right? And not really focusing and worrying about anywhere else. It's about what you're doing right now, where the focus is. And I feel like the focus has a lot to do with what you're manifesting or what maybe you could be healing. It could be that you are trying to regain more hope, right? Or this is that you're working very hard to manifest right now, because the Eight of Pentacles and the Star together, that is one hell of a manifestation combo, right? That's putting the work in and having the emotional, having your emotions in your heart set on a goal or on a certain, on a certain dream. First off, right, I feel like regarding this current state of being for you guys, right, the Seven of Pentacles is that showing that you have been putting some work in. You've been busting your behind. You really have been working very hard. And I feel like, unfortunately, the situation is maybe not up to par with what you're wanting. I feel like it has started to kind of get somewhere or maybe make some progress. But it's probably still at the exact peak of where you want to be. Perhaps there's still a lot more work to do, and that's what's kind of like, that's kind of the situation. It's like, oh my goodness, there's more work. There's something else I need to do here. So I feel like things are just kind of moving at a very slow, snaily pace, okay? So, with that being said, you have here in your desired outcome the Seven of Wands. So, I feel like you want to defend what you're working on. You want to either feel more confident about where you stand in this relationship, kind of know where you stand in this relationship, kind of, feel like you're set to either defend it, or you want to feel more like it's something worth standing for, right? I feel like it could be that, you don't want to be so defensive maybe within your relationship. Perhaps that's what's going on. Maybe you're having to be a little bit defensive, and the hardware that's coming in is like, it's like, oof, okay, there's still some stuff. There's still some things I have to kind of make sure that I maintain or whatever. Maybe there's some competitive energy, because the Knight of Swords isn't your best path to follow. Okay. The thing here is what's keeping you from the Seven of Wands potentially not being as defensive as being very defensive. Maybe you shouldn't have to feel like you have to defend yourself in your relationship. Perhaps that there is a situation or a cycle that has either completed itself or hasn't completed itself. Okay. Like for some of you guys, this may be that this is a relationship that's still ongoing and it's not done. It's not completed itself yet. That the relationship is still like, the romantic. No, it doesn't have to be romantic, but like this situation regarding your love life right now, right? The Lovers talks about love, and it can talk about your partner. The situation is talking about, what's love for you guys? What, it's about who you love or what you love. Maybe there's a cycle that's ending here there's a cycle that's ended because you met someone, or because there's someone in your life that means so much to you, right? So it could be that, this is unfinished business with you and a current partner. This is a new beginning with someone else, right? Or this is something that's wrapped itself up. And it's almost like this person's come into your life to, it's like, it could potentially be a soulmate here. Maybe this person is, in a way, reflecting back to you how you love yourself, right? So, for some of you guys, I really feel like this is like unfinished business in a way, because when it's in this placement, usually this is a good, this is a cycle closing or a cycle ending in a really positive way. But this is the blockage, right? I don't think that something has completed, right? Where you don't have to feel so defensive, right? Where you can put your guard down. And I feel like the Wheel of Fortune, the world is indicating to me that something isn't done with some sort of connection, some sort of emotions, some sort of a love situation. And I feel like it's because there may be something to look at regarding what you love. Now, I feel like here, with the best path to follow being the Knight of Swords, I feel like it's saying fight for what you believe in. And I feel like that means just kind of communicate your truth and speak your truth. And you guys are really good at being open and honest. And I feel like for some of you guys, maybe there's just some things that just need to be said, right? Some things that are just like, maybe someone's stepping on somebody's boundaries, and that shouldn't be, and it's clearly stated. So like, don't break my boundaries now. Don't do anything that's against my boundaries. It could be that, right? And for some of you guys, it could be that you guys are dealing with an individual who is, who doesn't really, put a lot of effort into the relationship as much as you are, potentially, right? It could be that this person could be, right? It all depends. But the Knight of Swords does communicate his truth. You may be a bit impulsive about stuff, but I feel like he goes with what he wants. He goes for what he feels. Well, he goes for what he feels is the truth, right? Because, his truth is something that is serious to him. It means the world to him. So he's going to fight for that. And I feel like, guys, perhaps there's something that needs to just be said or communicated, but there's some sort of fight left in you, right? There's something still there. And I feel like really the situation may be looking like it would probably be best to just wrap it up, but you're still, it looks like it's still like a bit of holding on. You still want to work on something because of this love. And if love is this, if this connection that you have to this individual is so strong, then fight for it, right? Keep going, keep pushing forward. Don't let the wall, don't let this, the amount of work that's coming up make you feel like it'd be better off just letting it go. If you truly feel like you're connecting with someone, you know what I mean? Because here in your feelings, you have the Ace of Pentacles. You feel like this is, a slow start, a slow beginning, but it's commitment here. It's an offer of something long term. You know what I mean? This is something that definitely can stand the test of time. And I feel like you're not only committed, but you see that there's a potential future that can be built here. It's going to take some time, of course, right? And I feel like you're realizing that because your current state of being is the Seven of Pentacles. But I feel like also you're not done yet. It's just the beginning. And this beginning can be exciting. And I feel like you hope it does kind of pick up some sort of speed. You get some sort of, excitement out of it. And all aces are exciting, right? The Ace of Pentacles is a very exciting beginning because it's talking about something that's like, it could be investments. It can be, starting a new business, starting something that's tangible, long-term, that's something that lasts forever. Building something with some sort of stronghold on it, right? Something that has a foundation that can last, it can last a legacy. You want to build a legacy, potentially. But you want this to be what you want to start. You want this to be something that actually potentially picks up speed, like I said. But perhaps this is someone, maybe you guys want to reignite the passion as well, because this is making progress towards towards building a stable relationship. But I feel like perhaps you hope for there to be the return of some passion too, some kick, instead of constantly looking at the hard work, looking at what needs to be done, looking at what hasn't been done yet, or like how long you guys are going to be to get there. That's why the Eight of Pentacles is talking about focusing on what you've got, focusing on that one pentacle, focusing on each pentacle at a time. You don't see him looking up at those pentacles that's hanging up, right? He's focusing on the pentacles at a time, and he's determined and focused and doing the best he can. And that's the beautiful thing about it, right? Sag, you are in the moment here where you are doing the best that you can. And that's all you can do. All you can do is do the best that you can, and with the knowledge that you have. Okay? So I completely understand why the Ace of Wands for you guys is in your hopes and fears, because I feel like you guys want some passion back. You don't want to, you feel like this is a good, yes, you're excited, you're committed, you wanting to work for it. You want to have a relationship that stands test of time. Amazing. I am rooting for you. And I completely understand that you also want some sort of fun, for some sort of excitement, some passion to revive itself, because it's just been work, and it's just been stress and defensiveness, building new boundaries, communicating what your needs are. It's been a process. So where's the fun? I understand. So, looking at your outcome, you have death, right? And this does talk about releasing something, and this talks about letting go. Something needs to be removed in order for things to be able to, make space for the new things. Make space for romance. Make space for whatever you want, right? But there's something that's keeping hold of this, right? What are you releasing, right? What is it that you have to release? Something has to give, right? When the death card comes up, it's like, that can't stay. If you want X, Y, and Z, that can't stay. Okay. And it has, you know, death talks about something inner, right? Something that we've been holding on to. Maybe a certain perspective that we've used for so long that no longer really serves its purpose, right? It could be that, you know, this could be from past relationships where someone may have betrayed us, or this could be boundaries that we have set for ourselves in the past, that we see isn't really getting us to where we want us to be, right? And where this is next to, right, the desired outcome, which is Seven of Wands, letting your guard down, right? Perhaps there's old practices or old ways of doing something that may be kind of keeping you from being able to enjoy the connection. Maybe there is some sort of, you know, boundaries or lack of boundaries that is, you know, keeping you from being able to, you know, to be able to, you know, love and be focused in the relationship, because people keep stomping on them. People keep disrespecting them. And I feel like that's why the Knight of Swords coming in. It's like, Knight of Swords don't play. He's going to lay it down straight. He's going to, you know, he's going to slice you behind up. You better be right. So for some of you guys, you may have, maybe the situation with it's the Seven of Wands. It's actually not necessarily putting your guard down and not being so defensive, but perhaps having boundaries that you feel good about, that truly stand by you, right? Because you're defending something here. You want to defend yourself, I feel. Not just from the relationship, potentially, maybe all relationships altogether, but I feel like you want to build some healthy boundaries. You want to feel like you have a boundary away from people that may be trying to take advantage of you. You have the higher ground, right? You have the standpoint here. And I feel like it's you realizing that you have this higher ground to be able to, you know, release some old habits, or release some ways of doing something, or ways of thinking, so that way you can truly be free. There's nothing you're doing. I don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. This is not about me saying, oh, you guys are doing something wrong, right? If you feel like you're in the best place, you're in the right place right now, and you're doing everything perfectly, and you feel like you're doing everything in the right way, you're doing it perfect, right? That is, I don't want to come into this and give you guys a lecture or try to tell you guys how to live your life. You have to live your life the way you see it, right? Absolutely, you guys get that. Absolutely, Sag. But if you're not happy, I feel like the best way to do this is to build up some boundaries that truly stand by your beliefs, right? That's the Knight of Swords. Because it looks like people here are trying to, you know, swing at you, trying to, you know, poke you, push you down. Not in a way that is like, you know, mean. I feel like they're trying to get to where you are, so they may do it like that, right? And it may feel like slights and, you know, stuff like that. But he's confident in where he is. He's like, I'm good. I can see everything. I got all that. And that means that you have the higher ground too. You have, you know, you have something a lot of people don't have. And I feel like it has a lot to do with communication and recognizing what your needs are, right? A lot of people are, you know, have a hard time figuring out what their boundaries are. And I feel like with healthy boundaries, you'll be able to have a healthier relationship with not only your partner, but with yourself. You can begin to have that passion in your life to really get that spark going on, right? But the Death card talks about something that's got to go. And I feel like it could be that there is some things, some old disappointments that maybe need to be released, forgiven for you. Never forgive for someone else, forgive for yourself. So that way you can truly be free and able to manifest exactly what you want to manifest. And so you can be in the moment instead of always constantly looking over your shoulder. Because in a way, I kind of see the Seven of Wands as kind of looking over your shoulder. Wow, look at that. Getting to know each other. As you receive your innermost selves to each other. Sorry, when you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. I am having a hard time reading, guys. Okay, apparently, all right. I can read, but I don't know what's going on. Oh, Mercury retrograde. That's what's up. But getting to know each other. That makes sense. Seven of Wands, the Knight of Swords, communication, getting to know each other. Perhaps there's some boundaries that you may need to learn about someone else, so you don't, you know, too maybe. But I feel like the other person needs to know your boundaries, need to know who you are as an individual. What is okay, what isn't okay. And if they do step across the line, they need to be corrected on that, right? They need to just be like, hey, you are not really helping the process of making this relationship any better. You know what I mean? If they're stepping over the line, feel free to let them know. You don't have to be mean or aggressive or like the Knight of Swords where he'll just cut you up, right? But you can be quick to it. Be like, hey, no, I don't like that. You know, if they're doing that, right? If they're not, then there's no use for that. That sort of advice. But you guys are committed. You guys are committed in this relationship, man. Let's see what's up. Wow, rest and relaxation is essential. We have a fundamental need to take breaks. Wow. I was reading for another Sag, actually. Boyfriend. And I was playing around and pulled one of these cards with him. And he said he could totally use a break. So I'm like, yeah, you've been working so hard. That's where the fun comes in. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's like constantly being bombarded with things that you feel like you need to do. When in actuality, all you got to do is just be in the moment. Eight of Pentacles. Focus on what you have to work with at this moment. Love. The relationship. Okay? Some sort of cycle isn't completed. And I feel like it has something to do with something more personal than the ending of a cycle with a relationship. You know what I'm saying? It could be that maybe this relationship is holding you back, but I don't think that's the case because keep getting to know each other and then resting is essential. It's almost like it's kind of like it's lighthearted energy that's coming in. So I feel like there's some work that needs to be done here, but the only thing you need to worry about right now is where you are right now.